Tropical storm Philippe sweeping through the Leeward Islands. Latest on Tropical Storm Philippe, which is holding on to 50-mile-per-hour winds despite a very much degraded appearance this afternoon, moving gradually northwestwards towards Barbuda with tropical storm force winds, 17.3 north, 61 degrees west as of 3 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. That was 50-mile-per-hour winds, a pressure of 999 millibars moving northwest, or 305 degrees at 7 miles per hour, that's 11 kilometers per hour. Mid-range tropical storm, but you wouldn't have thought it looking at that imagery there, but it could strengthen later on down the line as it heads back over the open ocean. So here it is with its wind field, which is somewhat expansive on the eastern side, up to 150 nautical miles on that southeastern quadrant. And that's as of the latest information. Tropical storm warning for Barbuda and a tropical storm watch in effect still for Antigua. It's actually closer to Antigua, 67 kilometers, 74 from Barbuda, 222 from St. Martin, 368 from the British Virgin Islands, and 545 from San Juan in Puerto Rico. So movement will continue northwesterly and then will eventually turn further northwards as the storm moves back out over water, and from there it could go on to intensify, and then eventually it looks like it might, well, we still don't know fully if it's going to do a recurve or not yet. Swells generated by Philippe will affect the Leeward Islands and through Puerto Rico in the next couple of days. Rainfall totals could be significant as well in Antigua and Barbuda, which could reach 6 inches in total. They're expecting scattered, isolated flash flooding events to occur on those islands, with some potentially significant rainfall. So here's its position and expectations over the next few days, moving northwesterly through the course of the middle part of the week and then turning northerly and then eventually further towards the northeast, passing somewhat close to Bermuda, but those tropical storm force winds don't stretch out far enough. Whether it becomes a hurricane or not is still a question mark. National Hurricane Center though, they think so, and they predict I think a 75 knot peak on day 5. So here it is right now, the expectations, National Hurricane Center and Force 13 at the same intensity. ADT, the satellite estimates, they're lower, obviously with the storm's very poor appearance. 40 miles per hour, maybe a little bit more than that, but from what we're seeing right now, it looks like it's a little bit stronger, and it has been for quite a few days, of course. It's been sheared to oblivion though for a good while now. And here's the forecast from the National Hurricane Center there, almost the same really as what we were showing on our graphic there. By the end of the week into Saturday, it will be moving off northeast of Bermuda as a Category 1 hurricane. What happens after that though is still anyone's guess. Well, here is the GFS solution then out to 7 days, and this is what it's projecting. The parent model this is. Moving northwards there, the storm, another system developing off to its west by the way, and then Philippe continues on that trajectory there, north-northeasterly, brief hurricane status by the looks of things, and then maybe again near the end of that 7-day period as it turns quite sharply towards the east actually. But some ensembles take it west, really a split point when it gets up past Bermuda on whether it goes east or west, and that will obviously have great implications on whether Canada gets involved or whether it goes further out to sea. Now here is the radar simulation, and that shows the storm continuing to look very shabby for a good while until it passes close to Bermuda and gets a little bit better of a core there, but still never fully completes what would appear to be an eye. And looking again at the initial phase there, the rain does flare up in about a day or two just off the islands, and then it continues to move on up towards the north there with some pretty decent signatures continuing. So off it goes, and this is the expected rainfall expectations, full accumulations and you can see it's mostly offshore, quite some distance away, but there are quite a lot of green areas all along the Lesser Antilles there, going up towards 3-4 inches, 100 millimeters there for quite a few areas. So there is a lot of rain around, certainly for those northerly islands of the Leeward Islands, I should say, and actually it looks like possibly near St. Martin could be getting the highest amount of rainfall, getting up towards 4 inches, as I said, but thankfully out at sea is where the highest rainfall amounts are by some distance, up to 12 inches out there. Sea surface temperatures are looking good ahead of the storm, 28 degrees Celsius or more in a few areas, probably pushing 30 degrees actually, given that this chart can read a little bit low. Temperatures do decrease as the storm heads further north, and when it passes by Bermuda it will probably be around 27 degrees Celsius, and then continuing towards the northeast after that, where those temperatures will continue to cool. And that, of course, is where the storm, will it meet its fate? Well, it may last a little bit longer than that. But looking at the satellite imagery then, as we continue to monitor this storm, you can see that imagery showing a big bulk of cloud tops on that southern side of the center of circulation, which is now exposed once again, and you can clearly see its trajectory northwestwards. It will make a very close pass to Barbuda and then continue off towards, won't affect any other islands directly there at the landfall, but all of the precipitation at the moment is on the southern side of it, and that will be producing lots of rainfall over some of those southern islands along the Lesser Antilles before it actually reaches the further north Leeward Islands with those significant rainfall amounts. So an interesting situation with Philippe. Of course, there are some significant impact possibilities, and we'll have more information as this develops.